Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into a name everyone knows, Mercedes-Benz, symbol of luxury engineering. It's top-tier stuff.
Absolutely. You see that star, you think performance, prestige. Big price tag, too. It's, what, an $80 billion company today? Over a century old?
Yeah, and reading the sources, I was honestly floored by the origins. Because you see this giant, polished company now.
Right.
And you forget it basically started with, well, failure and doubt. And one really poor engineer, Karl Benz.
That's the real tension here, isn't it? It's this amazing story of invention, bringing the car to life. But then there's this surprisingly complex corporate history later on. We have to talk about the Nazi connections, the forced labor during the war. It gets dark.
It really does. It's such a contrast from one guy's dream facing impossible odds to this global giant with, a deeply complicated past.
It forces you to kind of separate the inventor from what the corporation became, I think.
Okay, let's unpack this then. How did this luxury brand get from an inventor's dream in poverty to this global powerhouse with all that baggage?
Well, to get the scale of it today, you really have to go back to the beginning. Karl Benz, born 1844, Muhlenberg, Germany, very low-class background.
Yeah, his father was a locomotive driver, right?
Yeah.
And died when Karl was only 2?
Exactly. Left him and his mother in, well, pretty dire financial straits. Just survival was tough.
But his mother, she really believed in education, didn't she? Even though they were poor.
She absolutely did. Pushed him, made sure he got a good education. And it paid off. She showed talent early on. Chemistry and mechanics, that sort of thing.
And that led him to university.
Yep. University of Karlsruhe, age 15. Mechanical engineering. And this is key. He studied under Professor Ferdinand Rettenbacher.
Ah, Rettenbacher. He sounds like a game changer from the sources. Moving engineering from just workshop tinkering to, actual science.
Totally. And crucially, Rettenbacher was already saying steam engines were on the way out.
Wow, back then. That's bold.
Very. But it got Benz thinking differently, looking beyond steam for something new, an internal combustion idea.
So Benz finishes uni, works a few jobs. In 1871, he starts his own thing, an iron foundry.
Yeah, in Mannheim, with a partner, August Ritter. And how quickly did it fail? Almost immediately.
Oh, wow.
Ritter wasn't reliable, money was a mess, and the local authorities actually impounded their tools.
No way. So the guy who invents the car is right there, facing total financial collapse.
Desperately close, yeah. The sources paint a picture of him almost giving up.
Okay, but then Bertha Ringer enters the picture. The hero.
Definitely an unsung hero. She came from money, married Karl, and she saw his genius when others didn't. The sources are clear. She used her own dowry.
Her own money.
Her entire personal fortune, basically, to buy out Ritter's share completely.
That's incredible belief. It literally saved the company, didn't it? No Bertha, no Benz.
Pretty much. And with her support, he could finally focus. The 1870s became this decade of, non-stop innovation for him.
Right. This is when he develops the gasoline two-stroke engine.
Yeah.
1879.
Yes. And then all the bits needed to make a car actually work. He got patents for engine speed control, battery ignition, the spark plug.
The clutch, the gear shift, the radiator.
All of it. He was essentially inventing the modern car's functional parts before the car itself was really a thing.
But all that inventing costs money, and the workshop couldn't handle it.
Exactly. Production costs got too high. He was forced to turn it into a stock company in 1882.
And that's where the inventor gets sidelined, right? The classic story.
Total gut punch for Benz. The money guys came in, took control. He ended up with only 5% of the shares, demoted, couldn't even influence the designs anymore.
Just a hired hand in the company he built around his own inventions. You can see why the sources call it a betrayal.
He was furious, frustrated. He walked out the next year, 1883. But maybe that failure was necessary. It freed him up.
So what did he do then, after leaving his own company?
Found new partners. Max Rose, Friedrich Wilhelm. They started Benz & C in 83. Smart move this time. They focused first on making industrial machines, stationary gas engines, things that actually made money.
Ah, so that generated income, which let Benz focus on his real passion.
Exactly. He wasn't just trying to strap an engine onto a cart. He wanted to build the vehicle around the engine.
Using bicycle tech, right, for the chassis.
Really advanced stuff for the time. And the result, 1885, was the Benz patent motor wagon. Tricycle design, 3-wire wheels, powered by a 4-stroke gasoline engine.
And the power. What was it, less than 1 horsepower?
2/3 of a horsepower, yeah. Top speed maybe 7 miles an hour.
7. Okay, so revolutionary on paper. How did people react when he actually drove it in 86?
Badly. They were scared, seriously. People thought it would explode. Some accounts say they called him the devil driving an infernal carriage.
Wow, but wait, even his partners were skeptical. Didn't they see the potential?
They saw the problems. It was expensive, super noisy, messy, broke down. They literally said it was no quicker than a horse and smelled awful. Who would buy this thing? That was their question.
Yet Benz just ignored them. Started actually building cars to sell in 1888, first in the world.
He did. But like his partners feared, they weren't selling. Too expensive, too unreliable for anyone but the super rich who didn't like the noise and mess anyway. You basically needed a mechanic with you.
The tech was there, but nobody saw the practical use yet. It needed something big, a demonstration.
It needed a publicity stunt, and guess who steps up again?
Bertha. Not with money this time, but with nerve.
Pure nerve. Summer of 1888. She decides, right, I'm gonna prove this thing works. Doesn't tell Karl, doesn't tell the police driving it, was technically illegal.
Wait, illegal?
Oh yeah. So she just takes their two sons and sets off on this insane 66-mile journey to visit her mother in Pforzheim.
66 miles. In that machine,
Yeah.
on roads made for horses. As
Yeah.
audacious doesn't even cover it.
It took 12 hours. And the stories are amazing. She used her hat pin, a long pin, to clean a blocked fuel line, had to get local shoemakers to repair the leather brake pads.
And the fuel, where does she even get gas?
Not a gas station, they didn't exist. She stopped at a pharmacy, a chemist shop in Weislach, bought Ligroin, which was like a cleaning solvent, a petroleum ether. That pharmacy became the world's first sort of gas station.
That is incredible. The ultimate road test. Did it work? Did it convince people?
Totally. When she arrived, she sent Karl a telegram. Made it. The trip was huge news. Suddenly, everyone was talking about the Benz motor wagon. It proved the car wasn't just a toy, it was practical. Rough, but practical.
And sales picked up after that.
Big time. By 1890, Benz & C was booming. Second largest engine maker in Germany, mostly stationary engines still, but the car side was growing. Benz kept innovating 2 planetary gears, better steering.
And then came the first mass-produced car, the Velo.
Yeah, after the Benz Victoria, which was a 2-seater, the Velo was cheaper, simpler. They made 1,200 of them. That made it the world's first large-scale production car. For a while in the 1890s, Benz was the biggest car company on the planet.
But competition was coming. You can't dominate forever. Enter Daimler.
Right. Daimler Motorengesellschaft, or DMG, led by Gottlieb Daimler and the brilliant engineer Wilhelm Maybach. Daimler himself was super competitive, very business-focused, everything Benz wasn't, really.
And their cars were good, but the real shift was that Mercedes name.
Yes, 1901. This wealthy businessman, Emil Jelinek, basically commissioned Maybach to build him a cutting-edge car. Powerful, fast. Jelinek named it after his daughter, Mercedes.
The Mercedes 35 horsepower, and this one looked more like a modern car.
Exactly. Lower, wider, much more stable, powerful engine up front. It totally changed the game. It dominated races. DMG saw the magic and just rebranded everything Mercedes.
Which must have put huge pressure back on Benz & C.
Massive pressure. Benz's partners got desperate. They wanted to race too, compete with Mercedes, so they hired French designers to build a faster car.
Without Karl Benz's approval.
Totally behind his back. Benz hated racing. He liked driving slowly, safely. He thought racing was noisy, dangerous, just frivolous. He was apparently angry and upset, and eventually left the company board over it.
How ironic is that? The thing he hated racing actually saved the company's reputation.
Completely. Cars like the Blitzen-Benz, the Lightning-Benz hit speeds over 140 miles per hour around 1911. Absolute sensation. It put the Benz name right back up there with Mercedes as a top global brand.
So you have these two giants, Benz and Mercedes-Daimler, fierce rivals.
And then World War I hits, devastates the German economy. Suddenly, this intense competition wasn't sustainable.
So they had to cooperate.
First, they kind of pooled resources for production and marketing in 1924. Then, in 1926, they merged completely, created Daimler-Benz, and the cars became Mercedes-Benz.
And Karl Benz lived to see that, the unification.
He did. He saw his name joined with his biggest rivals, forming this automotive giant before he died in 1929. But the timing of that merger, it put the new company right in the path of the next major storm.
The rise of the Nazi Party.
Yeah, if you connect the dots, they'd just perfected the technology, the scale, everything needed to be a huge industrial player. When Hitler came to power in 1933, the regime saw an opportunity.
They subsidized Daimler-Benz for racing Grand Prix.
Heavily. It wasn't just about sport, it was propaganda, showcasing German engineering, German superiority to the world.
And Mercedes dominated those races in the mid to late 30s.
Absolutely. Won pretty much everything from 34 to 39, and the brand became, well, linked to the regime. The sources point out that the big Mercedes-Benz 770 cars were Hitler's preferred transport, used by all the top Nazi officials.
That's a chilling connection, the luxury car becoming a symbol of that power.
It is. And then, with World War II, any pretense of just being a car company vanished. By 1942, civilian car production stopped entirely.
All resources shifted to the military.
Completely. Trucks, tanks, crucially, aircraft engines for the Luftwaffe. Daimler-Benz became a vital part of the Nazi war machine.
And the demand for that war production was just immense. Way more than the normal workforce could handle, right? Even with women recruited.
Far more. And this is where the story takes its darkest turn. The company turns systematically to forced labor.
How did that work? Where did these laborers come from?
The sources are pretty explicit. They used prisoners of war, civilians abducted from occupied countries, especially Eastern Europe, and detainees directly from concentration camps.
Concentration camp prisoners working in Mercedes factories.
Yes, housed in awful conditions, in barrack camps right near the factories, often guarded by the SS.
The scale of it is just hard to comprehend. The sources say by 1944, nearly half the workforce.
Nearly half, something like 31,500 out of 63,000 employees were forced laborers. And the conditions were brutal. Malnutrition, disease, abuse, torture. Many died right there working for the company.
It's a staggering level of corporate complicity. What happened after the war ended in 45?
Immediate consequences. Under the Potsdam Agreement, Daimler-Benz lost all its foreign assets. Factories were bombed out. And before they could even think about restarting production, the Allied authorities, the Americans in their zone, forced them to undergo denazification.
Meaning they had to remove top management with Nazi ties?
Exactly. Purge the leadership. Only after that did they get a permit to start producing again in 1946.
And yet, somehow, they recovered incredibly fast.
It's quite remarkable. They were heavily damaged, made only about 1,000 passenger cars in 1947, mostly focusing on essential things like ambulances, police vehicles first.
Rebuilding through necessity.
Right. But by 1948, they were turning a profit. By the 1950s, the Mercedes-Benz brand was regaining its global prestige. Engineering won out, it seems. They reported profits over $1 billion by 1954. A truly astonishing comeback from utter ruin and moral compromise.
So wrapping this up,
Yeah.
what do we make of it all? It's this journey from one poor guy, Karl Benz, with an idea, relying on his wife's belief and money, battling constant skepticism, building the first car, merging with a rival, and then this deep entanglement with the Third Reich, the forced labor, and then resurrection again.
It's a story of incredible determination, technological brilliance, but also, devastating moral compromise at the corporate level. It really highlights how a company's actions can become detached from its founder's original, maybe purer intentions.
It shows that these huge technological leaps, like the car itself, often need someone with almost unreasonable self-belief to push past everyone saying it's impossible, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Benz faced so much doubt. His partners, the public, everyone thought it was crazy.
Which maybe leaves us with a final thought for you listening. Karl Benz was told his car was too noisy, too messy, too expensive, wouldn't work, wouldn't sell. How many ideas today are getting that same reaction? How many seemingly absurd concepts are maybe just waiting for their own determined inventor, or maybe their own Bertha Benz figure, willing to take that unauthorized road trip to prove everyone wrong and launch the next world-changing industry? Something to think about.